So to start blending the weights, what we need to do is get back to our weights tool rollout, which is this guy here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these points across the top, all of these options across the top. So if I just grab something, grab one of the vertices, you can see that I've got 0, 0.1, 0.25, 0.5, going up in increments all the way up until 1. So if we imagine this is 100%, just like we did before, we can weight a bone to 100%. We can do 50% or 0.5, 25% or 0.1 as well, so 10%. And this is really handy just for getting some really fast blended weights put across the characters. And it's what I normally use, to be honest, just starting out. So I'm going to move this down to the spine 1 joint, and you can see the 100% weighting that we have here. We've got some extra weighting points around which don't look too good to me. So what I'll do is I'll just come in here and I'm going to grab this vertice, change this to spine 3, and just weight this to 100%, the one that's actually at the moment weighted 100% to the spine 1 joint. Let's get that back in here, and we can see that it's sort of bleeding down into the spine 2 joint as well. So I'll just grab this vertice, change the selection, and grab both of these and set that to 100%. So moving back to the spine 1 joint, let's start using these 0.5, 0.25, and 0.1, as those are the ones that we're really going to worry about. So I'm just going to grab 2 of these vertices in a row, and I'm going to hit loop. That's going to loop all the way around, and that's going to make sure that I can get this loop that I actually want to be 0.5 weighted, so 50% weighted to the spine 1 joint. So let's just hit 0.5, and I'm just going to move up and do the same thing again. So I'm going to grab a vertice, control click another one right next to it, hit loop and do 0.25, and I'm going to move down again and do another loop and just a 0.1. So before I go on and continue blending, just doing a basic blend weight on this, what I'll do is I'll just cancel that selection and I'll grab the head bone, and if I start rotating it, you'll be able to see exactly how this is affecting the weight, so how this blend looks right now. So you can see that it's blending quite nicely where we've actually done it. You can see the harsh 100% around here, or 0.5% at the moment. Sorry, 50% around here, 0.5, and the 1 to the spine. You can see it doesn't move at all, it's not affected. So we get some weird deformation around here, but actually what we've done with the 50%, 25%, 10%, you know, that looks quite nice. It's starting to blend quite nicely, and I think, you know, this is where I start for most of my creature work and character work. And you know, it's really fast, and it gets you something really quickly that you can show people and go, hey, okay, I'm going to work on this skin. But you know, at the moment you're getting an idea of how it's gonna, how the geometry is going to be affected, how the deformation is going to look. So let's continue on with this anyway. Drop back down to the edit poly, the edit envelopes on the skin modifier, and I'm just going to click those 2, and I'm going to loop. And you'll notice that only goes down to where these loops, the topology actually goes to, and sort of any sort of pulls like this it's going to stop at. That's fine. It means that I can just have to do a few more clicks. So control clicking again with another loop, and let's click here as well. And we're also going to have to do it for these guys. So each of the fins on the side and the underbelly. Alright, so we've already got a 50% weight, or a 0.5 right in the middle, so I'm just going to do the head bone to 0.25, and we need to go down 1 as well and just do a 0.1. So let's actually take a look at what the deformation is. I'd normally do a 0.1, but maybe we can come up with something else for this. Let's just take a look at how this actually works right now. Just going to rotate this. You know what, that looks okay. I don't really want to start affecting too much of this fin, and you can see it's already starting to get some, especially when we do that. When we bring the head right down, you can see it's starting to affect it. So I probably need something else there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that 0.1 weight just for now, and I'll leave it at 0.25 where we're finishing up, and I'll start going down the spine from the spine 0-1 joint. So let's move this down into here. I'm not going to worry about this upper dorsal fin for the moment. I'm just going to worry about how the spine's actually deforming for the most part. This is probably the most important part of the character, so let's just work on this right now. You'll notice I'm not using the loop for this because it'll loop all the way around the character, and I want specifics of what I want to actually blend right now. So it's going to take me a bit more time just to control click all of these vertices as we work around the character, but it's going to save us time in the long run if we're having to deselect things once we've used the loop or the ring. So let's just put down to 0.5. And we'll run down on the next loop and we'll just do the 0.25 on this as well. Let's have a look. Alright, cool. And we'll do the underbelly as well. And we can leave the other side if we want to. We could just mirror the weights across because this is a symmetrical character. It's going to be fine, but just because there's not too many points to work with, I'm just going to go around and control click them. So let's set that to 0.25. And we're going to do the last bit for this and just do 0.1 as we move down. So this takes a little bit of time and it can be pretty tedious. I think that's why skinning is probably one of the worst bits for a lot of people when it comes to character rigging and creature setup. I think a lot of people find this pretty boring and dull, and to be honest, it's I find it pretty relaxing at times. It's it just makes the time go by pretty quickly, and you know, you can spend a lot of time. You could actually spend hours just doing this as well, but for a game, it's more important to get it looking right. For a feature film, I think you can get away with a lot more and rely on blend shapes. But you know, skinning is pretty fundamental to making good creature rig and a character rig, so it's important that we actually get it right. So you'll notice what I'm doing here. I'm just going to grab these bones and just rotate the character just to see how the deformation is coming along from the spine and the head. You know, that looking a lot better already. Let's just turn on edge faces so we can see what it looks like. You know, it's starting to deform nicer. It's still not great. You know, we're just starting out on this, so we still got a bit of work to do. So what we can actually do right now is just save a few key positions so we've got some animation. So I'm just going to turn on my auto key and I'm going to hit the key button. I'm just going to move to 25 in the timeline. Just hit key again. 50, 75, and 100. So I've got some keyframes. And I'm just going to set some extreme positions for this while I work on the spine. Let's just move that up to there. I'm not really worrying too much about the amount of rotation that I'm giving this. I just want to make sure that my deformation is going to look good. Let's rotate this to the side. And we'll do a twist as well. And you can see we've got some terrible tearing along here that we can actually work on a bit later, and also on the fins down here as well. I'm not worrying about that at all though. We can work on that and get that looking really good in a bit. So what I'll do is I'm going to leave this video for now. We'll just start working on the rest of the blending in the next video.